Welcome, everyone. Man, am I so excited to bring you another scientist and engineer from the Navy and the Marine Corps. And this one actually was a Marine, and now he's in the sciences. Who knew you could do that? I didn't. Philip Baptiste, what's going on?
I'm just living my dream. Just living my dream.
What is your dream?
Um, just to do really good work, do really cool things, and kind of just make the Navy better. I don't know why that's my dream right now. Outside of that, raise my kids and
Oh, all the extra
yeah,
stuff, right? Yeah.
be nice to my wife, all that
Oh,
good
okay. Yeah.
stuff.
That's the bonus stuff.
That's the bonus stuff.
Yeah. As long as they don't watch this video, we're good.
Yeah, yeah. Shh, don't tell them.
Definitely, definitely. So, Phil, tell us kind of what you do. You're a software developer in the Navy. You work with the Navy and the Marine Corps. What do you do?
All right, so I essentially lead a team that work on multiple product lines.
Yeah.
And essentially one product line that's really interesting is kind of a planning tool. So the Navy likes to plan, right? It's really hard to get across the globe with all of the things in the globe, right? So we create a planning tool to say, hey, kind of like Google Maps, right? So, hey, how do I get
Yes.
from where I'm at in San Diego to maybe New York, right? Oh, there's a hurricane along the way. Oh, there's a tornado. And then actually mapping that plan, figure out where you're going to rest, how much fuel you're going to need, and
Okay.
and if there happens to be any bandits along the road, you're trying to make sure you avoid them, right? So essentially that's what one tool does. And then
Uh,
another tool essentially works on developing the schedule for the Navy. This group of ships are here. How do we help with that? This group
yeah.
ships are there, and then how they handle their particular their jobs. So that's one of the cool things I get to do, in addition to trying to speed how we actually get software to the ships. So that's another cool thing.
That's fantastic. And I love your example of Google Maps because I think that everyone uses some form of mapping device on their phone if they have a smartphone. If you don't have a smartphone, then you're probably not watching this.
Yeah,
Who knows?
yeah.
But and I assume that you kind of said that Google Map or that technology is for guiding the ships. What do you have a technology for like if I got lost on ship? Because that's pretty dang
Uh,
confusing.
well, so just to break it down a little bit, so it's really to help people plan and give guidance to those, actually running the ship. So to
Okay.
actually control the ship or tell the ship to go left or right, it's really just giving information to people to make decisions.
Okay. So it doesn't help me get from the back of the ship to the front of the ship.
No, no, I maybe I'll build it up for that later.
Because that's its own language in
That's
itself.
its own language for itself, and then maybe the lunch line, like, hey, what's the right time to get lunch on the ship,
Oh, there you go.
right?
Food
I
is food is critical when you're deployed.
Yes, yes, it is. It's a precious commodity.
Definitely. Phil, so how did you get here? Were you a little kid like I'm gonna code one day, or how'd you end up where you are?
Um, so outside of like breaking my toys and even a TV or two when I was a young kid,
Yeah,
my cousin said, "Hey, we should join the Marines or something," and I'm like,
or
uh,
something.
"Okay," and I did it.
Okay.
but but before that, I did try college for a while, and I gotta admit I failed. Right, I wasn't really at the time. I wasn't there. So I went to the Marines. I did that for about 5 or so years, and then I got
Okay.
out. And then I started working for this weird place in San Diego that does like cool Navy technology, and I didn't even know they existed. But I ended up stumbling there, right? So now I'm working for this information center that do cool R&D, S&T type of stuff. And then I'm like, you know what? Maybe the school thing, I need to really try it. So I actually went back to get my bachelor's degree in computer science. And then I went to UC San Diego to get a very long title of architecture-based enterprise systems engineering.
Okay.
And the reason why I went for that is because I just like how things work in the big level,
Yeah,
kind of changed my mindset of systems thinking because our world is not linear, right? There's a lot of
definitely.
complexity, ambiguity, and just making things work, right? This
Yeah.
square table work with this circle table, work with this, octagon table. you know, and how to make
Yeah.
sure these things are interconnected. So
Okay.
that's after that, then I'm still working this cool Navy place. And now I'm like working on cool software things like how do we actually get software as fast as we can to the what we like to call the edge. These are where our
Yeah.
ships happen to be. And they're like floating islands of people and cool toys. And they need cool software, right? So
Yes.
we want to be able to kind of be one of the apps in the app store to kind of get to them so they can do their job. So uh,
Very
that's
cool.
that's pretty much the gist of it.
You talk about an app store. I think you mentioned to me previously you're kind of looking at creating like a on-ship app store type thing.
Yeah. So there's another group that I work with, and they're the ones that are creating this application store, so you speak. And what we have to do is break our software components in a very modular, what we like to call a container. So if
Okay.
you're in the computer science world or software development world, you know, application containerization. So it's just another layer deeper of abstraction from
Yeah.
virtual machines. So we're kind of creating ourselves in bite-sized chunks so that we could kind of be kind of like Netflixes of the world or Google of the world, where they're using other technologies like microservices to really expand the proliferation of their software.
Okay.
So we're not there yet, but we're getting to the container piece and having that as bite-sized as it can. Now we
Uh-huh.
could actually send it over the air, you know, through satellites and all that good stuff to the ship, and then ta-da, they get their app. And then, oh, I got an update from Phil or Phil's team, and now I can do my stuff. Or hey, Phil, I don't like this thing anymore. Give me a better update. And then we go back and we tinker, and then we
That's
send another
awesome.
update, right? So and just to give some context for those,
Yeah.
um, in the Navy, it's really hard to do that right now. Sometimes it takes months. Sometimes it takes longer than months to actually get updated software to the ship. And we're trying to break all of that apart. And we're trying to just get there in weeks,
That's
ideally in ideally in 24 hours. So that's what we're working and striving for.
that's fantastic, Phil. That's great. Where else is the technology right now with software development? Kind of I mean, you kind of hit some things you're working on. Is there anything else you want to share about where you are right now?
Um, that's pretty much the
Okay.
big piece of it, and then we're using it as building steps or building blocks, right? So now that we have our infrastructure laid flat, now that we're
Yeah.
getting to this containerization piece, and then I kind of hinted at it microservices. So you may want to Google that one day,
All right.
kind of see it.
Phil, come on.
Not
I
you,
know.
not you, the students, the students.
Yeah. Yeah. He's calling me dumb, everyone. It's okay. I didn't know what microservices is.
I'm talking to the students,
Ah,
right? Because you're gonna learn some things, and you may have yet to hear those topics.
yeah.
And then as we talked last time, like the vision, right? Like where I'm probably jumping a question or two, but
No, you're okay.
the vision is like, you know, how do we get like Alexa on the ship,
Yes.
right? Hey Alexa, play me a song, right? Hey Alexa, tell me how can I do my job or my mission, or what's the
Yeah.
best way to get here or there. And it's not like Big Brother or trying to spy. It's really
Sure.
how do we have tools help us, you know, process this information, um, because as soon as we could do that, and then if I lace in a little bit of machine learning, now we could kind of have the computer help us detect patterns that we can't naturally see on our own, right? So how do I
Yeah.
use all of the data of the Navy, kind of like Google does right now when you do your search engine stuff? How do I quickly coalesce that data? How do I tie it to Alexa? How do I tell it to give me pertinent information so I could do my job the most efficient way?
So you are is Internet of Things already on ships, or is that something that you're working towards?
I think we're working to play into that, and
Okay.
that in that area, Internet of Things, I think is still maturing and blossoming.
Yeah.
But one day, you know, the sensors of the ship will start talking to the IT systems of the ship, and then all of that data is being able to be processed, right? So we're not there yet. I wish we
Yeah.
were,
And
but maybe that's where the students can help us, right? Maybe that's where they could kind of come in
definitely.
maybe they blow my idea, right? I like when people iterate and jump on the idea and build and build and build. So
Yeah, that's I love that, Phil. I love that about you is you're not like you're coming up with some stuff, but you're like, hey, if your idea is better, let's try it.
oh yeah,
That's
I'm usually the dumbest guy in the room.
that's fantastic. Hey, well, just come with me, then I will be. So you're good.
Yeah.
You'll always be smarter than me. Win-win. So,
Win-win.
Phil, you've worked for the Navy and you've been in the Marine Corps. Have you had any unique experiences that are just like really cool that you may not have had other places?
Um, I want to say, yeah. I guess the short answer is yeah. So
Okay.
one of the cool things I had to do is everything I talked about, I had to actually demonstrate and play within the cloud, because the fear was we didn't want to start mucking around with live operational ships, right? Because
Yeah.
they got a big job to do, and we don't want to be in their knickers doing it.
Yeah.
And we were able to kind of what I like to call exercise the plumbing of a software pipeline and demonstrate, hey, we could actually do what we're saying we want to do. And we pulled this off in front of a large swath of software developers, and they loved it. And then what crazy, what again, talking about iterating and building upon,
Yeah.
we ended up building like this digital ecosystem. And what I mean by the digital ecosystem is, imagine if we had a replica system, IT systems of a ship in the cloud.
Yeah. Ooh.
And then we call those digital twins. So instead of me mucking around with the ship, I play with the digital twin or
Very cool.
instantiation of that ship. And then now we're like, all right, I get to kick the tires on my application. I get to verify that I'm not breaking anything or I'm not encroaching on someone else's resources. Or I can scale to the level I need to because I could increase my throughput or output for someone to use the actual tool. So
That,
I was really happy to be part of that endeavor using digital, building up digital twins and figure out the plumbing and make sure that all my pipes are connected correctly, the water
yeah.
can pass through, and I don't have leaky faucets or a leak somewhere along the way. So sorry for my analogies.
No, no.
I like breaking it down that way.
Phil, remember, layman over here. I'm the dumbest guy in the room. You got to break it down.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole time you're talking about working in the cloud and working with the ship and the cloud. And I'm thinking about how we're going to get a ship flying through the air. So,
Well, if you're that's my dream too, like the Avengers, like that
yeah,
floating.
exactly.
I would love that.
Exactly. You can have
Yeah.
your ship in the clouds while you're doing your data in the cloud.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I love it.
Fantastic, Phil. Is there anything else you want to share about kind of the stuff of software development we're doing inside the Navy Marine Corps?
Um, there's so much ground to cover, and what I guess my maybe sharing a little bit of a soapbox moment of sharing why I even like software development. I think is
Yes.
one of the areas you actually get to create something and build something of your own. And not to say you can't do it with other things, but I just like the fact that there may be a missing need, and you build software that kind of helps simplify and make it easier for life, right? And that's why I like about technology. That's what I like about the whole STEM, aspect. Even
Yeah.
if you wanted to include the art, because there's even an artistic piece to make sure that the way things are visualized for someone to actually ingest data
Yeah.
is also very important. So you want to always look at how do I reduce the cognitive load on someone and make it easy. That's what I like about Apple's. It's real easy. You just click some buttons, and
Yeah.
the applications are intuitive. And I like that software allows us to make life easy for everybody else.
I like that,
So
Phil. I like that,
yeah,
especially because your reference to bring that art piece in, and because it's very visual, and you
yeah,
can't just take a chord and plug it into your brain and just process it. We process this way, and we have to. And in a way, you are an artist. You are an artist
yeah,
with code, and you are building, creating, designing from nothing, and that's
yeah.
fantastic.
And just to share, because we try to, well, I work to kind of build this mindset within my group. Sometimes we like to, as computer scientists or engineers or developers, you like to build things with you in mind. And the world is not built of all software developers, computer scientists, whatever. You need to kind of break. If you could build it for my kid, I think you're on the right spot, right?
Yes.
If my kid can pick it up and within a minute or two, they can master the basic functions, that's what you need to strive for. So,
Yes.
don't build tools for yourself. You got to build it for the world. And because the world is using it, it's not just you
Definitely.
and your cool buddies.
It's not just the people that know how to use it.
Correct. So
And
building, yeah.
I love that, Phil. Especially, I have a sticker on the back of my laptop that says "You does not equal the user." Because as I used to be in the web world, and even some of the stuff I do now, we get so forgetful. Like, oh yeah, oh no, it works for me. It's working great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not the one that's using it.
It worked in the lab. It worked.
Yeah, it worked. So I love that you are thinking about that and that your team applies that to the things that you guys are developing for the Navy. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and it reminds me of another cool story where we're working with this this carrier group. So they're called like staff personnel on the ship,
Yeah.
and we're kind of bringing our tool to them. And they're like, "Why are you talking to me? I already got my cool Microsoft stuff. Like, why do I need you?" Right? And we're like, "No,
I got PowerPoint, Phil. I'm good.
Yeah, I got PowerPoint. I got Excel. This is the Microsoft already solved this problem. I don't know what you need. I don't know what you need. I don't know why I need you." And we're like, "No, trust us. And we're like working with them, and this is where we're getting actual user feedback. And
Yes.
I don't know many companies, they do focus groups and things like that, but sometimes they don't really talk to their actual end user. So we're actually talking to our end user, or quote unquote customer.
And the fun part is you get to talk to them and go on ship.
Yeah. So you're on the ship and then you're in their space, right? Because sometimes we build things in the lab or in our homes or whatever.
Yes.
And we have multiple monitors and we have all this cool setup. And on the ship, it may not quite be that way, right?
Yep.
Or there's low lighting or whatever. And this is where the art piece comes in. And so anyway, we're getting the feedback and like, oh, okay. Well, Microsoft doesn't do this. I could do this with your tool. I was like, okay. Oh, I didn't have that before. Okay, I'm liking it. And then all of a sudden, you can't pry it out of their hands.
Yes, that's fantastic.
God forbid you're the one that says, hey, we got to take your toy away. It's not happening. So the user adoption and getting that immediate feedback, I don't know many places in the world that give you that level of satisfaction where you get to talk to your customer and you get to give them what they need. And then they're so ecstatic. And only it's saving them time.
Yeah.
It's making them more effective. And then they can use that time to do other things.
That's great.
So I remember that because I just came off the ship maybe about 2 weeks ago. And they're like, yeah, you better not take it away from us. And I'm like, okay, I will not do that.
That's great. Well, Phil, thanks for joining us. It's been super great talking to you.
Great. And essentially keep following your dream, right?
Yes.
You're going to run into a couple of stumbling blocks. You're not even sure where your path would take you. If you look at me, my path wasn't quite traditional.
Yes.
But I would recommend stay in school, build that skill set. And if you're looking for a cool place that gives you purpose, that gives you cool, interesting problems that aren't really seen throughout the world, I say come to the Navy and the Marines, and you get to meet and interact with cool people, and it's just a very rewarding activity. And honestly, if I didn't stumble here, I wouldn't even know. And that's why I like this cool little secret. It feels like a little secret gem that I get to cherish. But I don't want to keep it to myself, right? So my whole point is think about it, and you'd be pleasantly surprised.
Fantastic. Well, really appreciate it again, Phil, and thanks for sharing what you're up to with software development in the Navy and Marine Corps. So thanks again.
Anytime.
Excellent. Students, you heard it there. Awesome things that Phil's working on, but you heard him say even better that he wants to see what awesome things you're working on and what you come up with, because he's going to retire one day, and he's not ashamed to admit that you might have a better idea than him. That's what's fantastic about Phil. Where are we going in the Navy with software development or Marine Corps? Who knows? You might, and that's what we're hoping for. Let us know where you think this could go and maybe help Phil and his team get to where they need to be. So thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.